For that. In the meantime, let's talk about this. Democrats calling to abolish the Electoral College after it put President Trump in the White House.
We can have national voting, and that means get rid of the Electoral College and every vote.
At least a dozen blue states are pushing to award their votes to whoever wins the national popular vote. But can Democrats just rewrite the political rulebook? Here now to break it down is attorney Jesse Weber. Thank you for your time this morning, Jesse.
Thank you for having me.
So break it down for us. What are some pros and what are some cons if this were to happen?
So I think there's a lot of people who are frustrated about the current election system, maybe rightfully so. You know, they say, hey, why shouldn't the candidate who gets more of the popular vote be the president? Doesn't that seem fair? Well, the framers thought about this. It's not like this concept just came out. They thought about this back in the day, and they said it doesn't seem fair. I mean, each state has its own interests, its issues, its own sentiments. How do we properly represent each state? And they did a middle ground. They said we're going to have this electoral college, and the way it's set up currently, those electors will go in favor of who wins that state's popular vote, not the national popular vote. And I think there's a really good point there, because if you have a direct national popular vote, I could see instances where there's more voter fraud. I mean, here, when you have an instance of voter fraud, you just restrict it to that state. And what's the point of campaigning anymore in individual states if it's just a matter about the national popular vote?
It changes everything.
Exactly.
Then. Do you think it's constitutional?
Okay. So even if they get to 270 electoral votes, even if they get all these states to agree, I guarantee, in an hour there's going to be a lawsuit, and I would say that it is unconstitutional. Remember, you can call this an electoral college. You can say we still have electors that are doing it. This is still a direct national popular vote if they go through with this, and it directly contradicts the Constitution. And if this goes up to the Supreme Court, my guess would be that they would side with the current framework, because they do not want to go against what the framers' intention was.
Let's take a look at the states signing popular vote laws, and there's quite a number of them there.
Yeah.
And also on this map, you'll notice that we do have some of the numbers there. The total number of electoral votes is 181. That would need to get to 270. Do you see that happening?
It may.
It may. When?
Okay, so this is going to take some time, and even if they get to 270, here's the thing. Even if they get to it and a lawsuit happens, everybody's like, well, what should you do? If they really want to change, they should pass a constitutional amendment, which, again, is 2/3 vote in both the Senate and the House, then have 3/4 of the state to ratify. The quickest the constitutional amendment has ever gone forward is with 4 months. Usually it takes many years. And for an issue like this, don't expect that this is going, in my opinion, going to affect the 2020 election.
Okay, but possibly beyond that.
Maybe it'll be a fight, but I just think that the way that our current system works will be upheld unless they try to get an amendment.
What do you think some of the challenges would be if this happened?
I mean, I really think that people are going to be upset about this, especially in red states and smaller states. How are they going to be properly represented? It's a big issue. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about everybody having a voice, but there's a reason that the way our system is set up, there's a reason we have the federalist system, and I'd be concerned about that.
All right, Jesse Weber, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're coming right back.